Hello everyone, my name is Nikita. In this course, you can learn everything you need to get started programming in Python. Python is the most popular programming languages and every day people use it to do some new things like artificial intelligence, automation, building applications and developing a websites. Okay, just like as your Instagram. If you are looking for a job, then Python is for you. We are going to discuss on all core parts of a Python and building a websites here. If you are a beginner, then don't worry, I will hold your hands to learn whole programming course on Python. So let's get started with our session. See here, first of all, we will see about the introduction to Python. In that session, firstly, we will see the agenda of our course, and the agenda of our course is just like this. What is a Python? History of Python. Then why it is named as a Python, why Python is a popular language, features of a Python, and last point is that the use of a Python in IT industry. All these points are covered in this session. See here, first point is that what is a Python? See here, Python is interpreted object-oriented high-level programming language with dynamic semantics. It is used as a scripting language. Okay. Python's simple, easy to learn syntax emphasizes readability and therefore reduces the cost of programming maintenance. Python supports some kinds of modules as well as packages, which encourages program modularity and word code reusability. Right. So, fortunately, experienced programmer in any programming language can pick up Python very quickly. Now, see history of Python. History of Python is the founder or developer of Python is Guido van Rossum. The first version of Python is developed in February 1991 by Guido van Rossum. Okay, he is the developer of the Python. Now see, Python was conceived in the late 1980s by Guido van Rossum at Centrum Wiskunde and Informatics in the Netherlands as a successor to the ABC language. Python is the successor of the ABC language. Now see, in 1994, Python 1.0 released with new features like map, lambda, reduce, filter. These are the new features of the Python 1.0, and this upgraded version of Python is developed in the 1994. Now see, next upgraded version is a Python 2.0. It was released on 16 October 2000 with many major new features like garbage collection system. Nowadays, Python 3.0 was released on 3 December 2008. Okay, it was released on 3 December 2008. This is the history of Python. Now see, why is it is named as a Python? Why it is named as a Python? Python is the name of the snake. Okay, you can Google it and search here. Python is the name of the snake. Okay, then why programming language name? Then why Guido suggest or why Guido developed a language which name as a Python. Okay, so at the same time of a Python implementation, Rossum was also reading the published scripts from Monty Python's Flying Circus. Okay, which is the television show on this is the BBC comedy series. Okay, and Guido Rossum liked that series, Monty Python's. That's why he taken a name from that show, that is a Python, and give it to their programming language. Okay. Now see, why Python is a popular language. Why Python is a popular language? Python for common people. That means non-technical people can learn beginner level Python to organize and analyze huge amounts of data using the Panda analysis library. when non-technical people can handle the Python language also. Okay, it is the high-level programming language. In Python, the code of a Python looks very close to human understandable language. It means it is very close to how human thinks. Now see, Python is highly productive compared with other languages like C++, Java. It is expressive language also. It requires less time and it having a less line of a code. Okay, Python is also very famous for its simple programming syntax, its readability. It is having a low cost and English-like commands. That means mnemonics is used here. So that can make Python very easy programming language. Now there is a one more point is that Python doesn't compile the code because it is the interpreted language and interpreter interprets the code line by line, and actually compiler, what compiler do, compiler compiles the code, whole code, not a line by line code, but interpreter interpret your code line by line. Okay, this is the difference between interpreter and compiler. Now see features of Python. So there are so many features of Python. First feature is that object oriented programming language. It is a simple programming language. Then third is that it is open source. Then fourth is the interpreted high level programming language. It supports GUI programming, and next and last it is the expressive language. Okay, so as a programming language, the features of Python brought to the table are many. So it is its code is easy, means it is the simple programming language. So Python is a very developer friendly language, which means that anyone can and everyone can learn to code it in a couple of hours of a day. Okay, it is simple as like that. So as compared to other object oriented programming languages like Java, C, C++, C Sharp, Python is the most easiest programming language. Now see open source. So what is mean by open source? Python is the open source programming language, which means that anyone can create or contribute its development. Okay, so Python is, along with the Python is free to download. That's why it is the open source. It is a free to download and use in any operating system, be it in a Windows, like it in a it may be in a Linux, or it may be on a Mac operating system. And next point is that it supports the GUI programming. Okay, so why it supports the GUI programming now? What is the GUI programming? GUI programming means it is the graphical user interface. It is one of the key aspect of any programming language. Okay, because it has the ability to add flair to code and make the results more visual. That's why we use the GUI in our programming language. Now see, Python has support for a wide array of GUIs which can easily be imported to the interpreter. Now the object-oriented programming language means what? See here, the object-oriented approach means basically it means that the Python recognizes the concept of a class, object, encapsulation, like this. Means it allowing programs to be efficient in the long time of a run. And another point is that interpreted and high level programming language. To see what is mean by interpreted and high level programming language, Python has been designed to be high level programming language, which means that human can easily understand the code, and which means that when you code in a Python, you don't need to aware of the coding structure, architecture, as well as memory management. Okay, now see, it is the expressive language. It supports the other data structures also, other languages also, means being coded in a C. Python by default supports the execution of code written in other programming languages just like Java, C, as like this. So I hope you all have understood what are the features of a Python here. Now see, the next point is the use of Python in IT industry. Use of Python in IT industry. So basically there are many uses of Python. In this, first is that the web application development means scripting language software application. In scripting language software application, we will use the Python here. Now see, in machine learning, how we use the Python in machine learning, just like a speech recognition application, or it may be any scientific computing plus data science, we use the Python language. Then in IoT also, IoT means Internet of Things. So here Python is emerging as a language choice of developers. And see, Python is widely used in scientific and numeric computing also. Uh, it is often used in software applications, pages within a web browser, the shell of operating system, and some kinds of games. We will use the Python language. And the language is used in scientific and mathematical computing or scientific and numeric computing, and even in artificial intelligence projects. Okay. Now it's been successfully embedded in a numerous software products, just like our web application development and some kinds of a scripting language software application. And see, one more point is that Python is the scripting programming language also. So these are the uses of Python in IT industry. So this is about the Python course, the introduction of a Python. In the next lecture or in the next session, we will see how to install and how to download and how to install the Python, and which software we will use for the Python coding. See in the next video. So please stay on this course and subscribe and like the video. Thank you.